Alright, guys and gals, in today's video, this is going to be probably quick and simple. Who knows? Let's see what I'm up to. So, I ordered a GlowShift gauge kit. I kind of pieced everything together, gauge-wise. They do sell whole kits and stuff. When I mean kit, I mean my own kit. We've got pyrometer, boost, water temp, and a nice little gauge pod that they sit in on the dash. And that's my kit. And I'll link those down below, which I need to do on the other video that we did last weekend. See if we can read that. This is for the pyrometer, and we're going to install we're going to make a hole in our exhaust manifold, and we need that for our pyrometer probe to go in there. So anyways, I ordered this up from I got all this stuff on Amazon. I'll link that down below. But this is a kit right from GlowShift, as you can tell by the thing. And this is a tap, or drill and tap. So this is a R letter drill bit, a tap. So we got a tap here. So basically we'll just drill our hole out. We'll run this tap in until it gets kind of, sketchy, and then we roll it back out. Alright guys, so the deal is, here's the deal. On the exhaust manifold here, what I've been reading on where to put these thermal probes, you want to put it, there's certain parts of the manifold you want to avoid. I think right in here might be a spot. But what my friend Todd did with his Bronco, and what I've seen with a lot of other guys do, and I believe it's also kind of a general rule of thumb, just to be safe, is to put your probe, somewhere like in here, about an inch away from the flange. And that's what I'm gonna do. So, an inch away from the bottom of the flange is probably gonna be our spot, or we can do an inch away from the top of the flange, which I think I might actually do that instead. This manifold is eventually going to get upgraded, so if we do screw this up, guess what we gotta order? That'll be fine. I think what I'm gonna do is I'll put a little bit of grease on this, and then I'm just gonna get a socket that's gonna go over here, and I'm just gonna work it in. It might be hard to get this out, but this fit right down in a 3/8. Throw some silicone lube on this. I don't have any tap stuff, and I guess normally cast iron you don't need to lubricate it. Let's see. I'm gonna try and get this thing straight. Okay, looks like I got it to start, because this manifold's at it's like a 9-degree angle or something like that, so we kind of have to get this started right. This is going in pretty easy. It will get tighter because it's a pipe thread, so it starts to get bigger as it goes in. And then you'll want to back her off once in a while. Let's see, how far did we go? See how far this goes in. I'm kind of hoping to have this set up where when it bottoms out, the base of this is right up against the thing here. We need to go a little bit further. Now when you do this, you do want to make sure you go back and forth to let the chips clear out of there. Be a real shame to break that tap off in there. Oh yeah, this is a 14 millimeter. I'm gonna go ahead and run this in until she bottoms out or until it stops. Alright, that's good, she's tight. Well there. That was anticlimactic, and we're 90% square with where we wanted to be.
Come on, everybody, clap your hands. Oh, you're looking good. I'm gonna sing my song. It won't take long. We're gonna do the twist, and it goes like this. Come on, let's twist again, like we did last summer. Yeah, let's twist again, like we did last year.
Okay, a little bit of a struggle here, but I got the engine and transmission are partially engaged. I gave it one good push and it went in quite a bit, but I'm at a point where I want to try and realign that clutch so it'll go in a little bit easier. I forget what size bolts these are, but these are standard for the transmission side of things, and it's a 5/8 head. That was what. Yeah, I think it's 5/8 head. I don't remember the thread, but I had a bunch of these. So I put one on each side to kind of keep it together. I'm making sure my dowel pin over there is aligned, because the one thing you don't want to do is you don't want to draw it in and mess up the dowel alignment, because if you do that you can blow out your clutch. Or if you have an automatic, you can totally destroy the front pump on the transmission and many other things. So I'm trying to make sure the alignment's good. So a lot of fiddling trying to get this stuff to, you know, So I just went into there, pulled my inspection plug for the transmission, and I made sure that my clutch was right up against the fingers. So the last time I did this, I got it pretty much like that, and then just kind of bang it like that. It's gonna feel spongy because it's not preloaded. So that should have partially released the clutch. If not, I can
bring her in a little bit more. It's going in, and it's going in fairly easy with the bolts. It's not super hard or anything, so I'm gonna keep working it and keep pushing that clutch and see if we can get that to engage. Well, there she be. She's pretty much in the truck. So here's a little update for you. I was gonna put new motor mounts in, but since the ones that I had were not broken and still in good shape, plus the driver's side one still had the polyfill that I put in it, I'm gonna reuse them for right now, but later I'm eventually going to replace the whole mounting system with a new kit, probably from Auto World or and maybe probably Auto World. And we're gonna upgrade to the 2710 style rubber mounts. I'm not gonna use the polyurethane ones. They're a little too aggressive for my liking. But that's a kit that will be put in some other time. Right now would be a great time to do it, but I just, like I said, I put my money to the most important stuff, like the engine rebuild, air conditioning and stuff like that. These motor mounts have not been an issue since I've put the polyfill in, so I'm just going to run them for now. Yeah, so the transmission's all bolted up. All 6 bolts are in there. I do put 2 additional through the adapter plate and the transmission on the bottom because they tend to vibrate right there, so if you clamp them down, they don't do that. So that's done. Right now I just need to put the motor mounts in, and we can drop it in there, and we can put our engine hoist and engine stand away, and yeah, it's a nice feeling. So once it's back down on the frame, I'll go ahead and put the exhaust back in, and then we'll hook up our stuff, and we'll work on some wiring in a little bit. Yeah, this is fun. Jimmy Johnson on YouTube here, which is me. I believe in showing details like this because this is very important. This is how I've learned to do this, because if you do it any other way, it seems like it's a little pain in the butt. Okay, I'll leave those loose for right now. We need some wiggle room. I'll end up tightening those down. Actually, I made a mistake. Oh, I didn't make a mistake. I was gonna put Loctite on it, but I'm out of Loctite, so. And then you move the engine over and you plop in the other side and scratch the paint up that you just put on. So we'll give this a nice crank down. You could actually probably torque that. It's probably like 50 or 60 foot-pounds. Okay, let's try and do that other side. Okay, now let's lift her up as high as she goes. That's it. Pain in my butt. So get this kind of snuck in here somehow. A little bit of oil is going to come out of that one. That's nice fresh oil. That made all the difference right there. Let's put that back on. Gotta put just a little bit of pressure on it. some pretty good oil pressure coming out of this thing. It's book didn't say what the max was, it just said as long as it's not less than 10. It's like, okay. Hope I have more than 10 psi. I think when I first got this engine, it made a lot of oil pressure to begin with anyway, so. Get her bolt started. Might have to bring her down just a tiny bit. Get this jammed in there. And we didn't scratch up too bad. I'll probably just leave it alone, really. I'd like to get this up just a little bit more. Like I said, you just go until you lift the cab, and that's all she wrote. Click. Okay. Well, we're in the hole. Let's set her down. Nice, she's in the truck now. Now, yeah. So what you have to do with these, you do have to tap on them to lock them in. We'll just tippy tap. So you hear that clunk. And you want to make sure your other motor mount on the other side is sitting flat. You want to do this before you tighten your nuts down, because what will happen is if you don't do that, it'll just work itself loose and it won't sit right in the truck. So there we go. She's in. We can get rid of this engine hoist and we can start plugging stuff in. We can actually hook up our fuel lines. Yeah, you know what I'm real happy about? Let's see if I can get you in here. Alright, I don't know how well you can see it, but this was the whole idea. Engine harness. Engine harness. Done. I do gotta put my throttle bracket back on. We'll deal with that later. See our boost line here. It's probably going to come back here, attach to the fuel line, and then loop right here instead of being all across here like I had it last time. Cool. Cool beans. I'm going to zip tie the clutch line up against my other harness here. So we just plugged our engine harness in. Can you see it? It's down there. I got some excess here I want to pull up here. I made her just a little too long on this side, but hey, you know what? Better than being too short. Cool, so we got our harness going along back there. So we should actually be getting our temperature probe, which I'm going to put it right here. That's just where I'm going to put it. How about that? So it's going to go here. This fitting is not the right one. I need a, see, that's a 1/2 inch to whatever that is. Anyways, we need to pop that out. We'll get a new thing for our center unit, which should be here today. And then that'll go here. I used to have my temperature probe back here, but this new cylinder head does not have a center port. So the KSB is having to use its temp sensor in the back port, which is probably a little bit better for it anyways. It used to be right in the middle. Kind of wish I could have kept it that way. So now this, so we got that guy there. I'm actually gonna get my exhaust down and into the port there and get that clamped down, get that out of the way. That just drives me nuts. Probably should put some covers on that, but hey, screw it. Anyways, she's in, with the exception of putting the nuts in there. I'll get under there and knock those out. It's pretty easy to get to from under here. So yeah, shoot, I gotta go make a couple of phone calls. I think I'm gonna have to go run and get some booze here a little bit. It's time to, almost time to celebrate. And we're sitting back normal. This goes in here like that. That's actually kind of perfect, really. So this will get zip tied down. I think I've got another holder I'm gonna put here, and that'll hold this guy down and tight and keep it from getting too much further over here. Because I really I want this end to be over here where it's not as hot. And then this is gonna come this way and go here. Okay, so the little clamp thing that I had is not big enough for these bolts or screws, so I'll have to get a different set. So that'll get clamped down there later, and I'll probably do it again right here. And then the only thing I'm worried about is just the amount of heat that's gonna be right here. I'm worried that this might be a little insufficient. I mean, it's just you know, this is just there for the abrasion resistance. So I may come back later and put some kind of insulation over that. We'll see what happens. I got a little bit of slack here. I wanted this to stay up, hopefully off of the guy there. We also have plenty of slack where we could have this come from the back, but the thing is, I want it to be, I gave this slack so I could route it something like this and then have it locked down to the engine. So I think that'll be fine. Our charged air and intercooler is gonna go right here. So this will be kind of hidden. I was gonna wrap this manifold, but I didn't want to waste the material on it because this and the turbo are going to be upgraded later down the road. So if I had the wrap on it, I would feel a little bit better about this, but I think this will probably be okay. I mean, I think around 200, 300 some degrees, that's when this starts to get kind of meh. So we'll probably be okay. We'll find out. We'll find out. We have time. I'm waiting for the mailman to show up before I tidy this up because, well, I need my sensor. We could start building the plug out, but we'll wait till we get the sensor. I need to fix that exhaust thing there. Get that on there. Hook up fuel lines and stuff, and just kind of slowly get everything kind of hooked back up. I'm gonna get my starter back in there. We actually can get this to fire up in the truck now. Just gotta hook everything up. I can finally get the power steering hooked up, get the cooler temporary put in here. I'm gonna do something different with the cooler. Instead of having this thing dingle-dangling right here, I was thinking about using my transmission cooler that's never been used in that radiator. I just gotta get fittings for that, and I think I might actually use that as the cooler for the power steering system. So that'd be kind of neat to be able to do that. It would probably keep it nice and cool, and then we don't have anything dangling and getting stressed out, cracking and breaking and leaking. Make it look clean. I'm trying to make this look clean, except for all the dirt. I'm not gonna scrub those. I pressure washed them, got the heavy stuff off, and that's it. But you know, the engine looks good. I like the firewall deal. I'm gonna cover this thing completely, and we're gonna spray up here. Probably take this tag off. Now we'll leave it because there's a metal piece right here. Yeah, we'll just cover this up and we'll just spray that just to cover up the stuff. So now we're at a point where when we get all the miscellaneous stuff all hooked up and everything, we're at the point where we can start building the intercooler system. I'll have to order some parts. I gotta wait for a couple of jobs to come in before I order that. Really all I need is the intercooler, piping, elbows and stuff, and let's see what else. And a heat exchanger, and you know, all the other nickel and dimey stuff. So when I ordered my temperature gauge from GlowShift, it was supposed to come with this sensor, and it didn't. So I ordered one. I wasn't gonna deal with them, you know, trying to get them to send me one. I'll talk to them later, and we can use the other one if they send me one for something else. These are pretty universal with their gauges, so and they only have one of these. So this works for the transmission, like an automatic or whatever. It's an 1/8 inch pipe deal. We could even probably plumb this into our oil and figure out what our temperature is. That's something I'd like to do later. But anyways, I got this today, just showed up in the mail. But after buying this, didn't get it with the gauges, but I got it with this, a sticker. I got everything pretty much hooked up, and as far as fuel goes, there's the barking dog. Gotta love that. I got battery situation temporarily hooked up. We're gonna go turn the key on. Verified my engine wiring harness does work, so we'll turn the key on and we'll just crank it and see if she starts. We also need to get our tape off the intake. That would be a good thing. Alright, you guys ready? Let's see what happens. Oh yeah! Alright, a little later in the evening, we got a radiator hooked up here. We're just running straight water in this thing, letting her flush out, bleed out, and whatnot. But yeah, she's running pretty good. Really good. You want to hear it? Let's hear it. We got our starter wire here. I just got some temporary wiring hooked up. I'm going to be doing all my battery cables and my starting wire. Cab, it actually feels a little bit smoother. My temperature gauge here is not fully inserted into the coolant circuit, so we won't know what that is. We're running about, what is that, 210 on the EGT. It feels definitely a lot smoother. This thing is, God, it just runs so good. I'm really happy with this thing. And the rebuild itself is really paying off. So yeah. Anyways, guys, that's it for this video. I gotta go. It's party time, and I'm celebrating. So we'll catch you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching. Bye.